Okay. So our next topic is the Brassicaceae family. Okay. As you know, we are studying the study of angiospermic families, and under the angiospermic families, we have completed the Magnoliaceae family, then the Ranunculaceae family. Now we will go for the Brassicaceae family. What are the vegetative characters of the Brassicaceae family? Then the reproductive characters, then the floral formula, then the floral diagram. Okay, all these things along with the economic importance we have to study for the Brassicaceae family as well. As you can see from the picture, all these members belongs to the Brassicaceae family, and they were the regular food material in our day-to-day life, right? See, the whatever the vegetables we are using on day-to-day life, they are all belongs to the Brassicaceae family. So this family, the characteristics of this family are quite familiar with us already, right? But let us see what are the scientific explanation for the plant material which belongs to the Brassicaceae family. What are their vegetative characters, how they are, what are their reproductive characters, how they differ from one another, how the androecium is there, how the gynoecium is there, all things we have to study in detail. So let us consider the Brassicaceae family. Okay, so we are dealing with the paper 1 and the chapter number 3, that is the phanerogams, under which you have to study the gymnosperms as well as the angiosperms, and we are here at the study of the angiospermic family, that is the Brassicaceae. We have completed the Magnoliaceae, then the Ranunculaceae. Now we will go for the Brassicaceae family. Okay. Now consider the introductory slide. See, this particular Brassicaceae family is formally called as the mustard family of the flowering plants, includes the many plants of the economic importance that have been extensively altered and domesticated by the humans. Okay, so this is the important term. Whatever the plant material which belongs to the Brassicaceae family, majority of the members of this Brassicaceae family are already domesticated by the humans for their food material. Consider these food material which we are already using in our day-to-day life, and hence we say we have altered these plant species in order to have the maximum benefit for the humans. That in a literal words, in a scientific words, we can say we have domesticated these species. Okay, all these plants material we have domesticated for our own purpose, and we are using them as a food material. So this Brassicaceae family is also called as the mustard family because mustard plant belongs to this particular family, and this Brassicaceae family contains the plants which are of great economic importance because they have been already domesticated for the human purpose, right? Especially those of the genus Brassica. Okay, in that Brassicaceae family, a particular genus is there which is called as the Brassica, and the species of this genus are typically used by the humans maximally. Okay, there are many genus which comes under this particular family, but particularly the Brassicaceae genus is there. This particular Brassicaceae genus is responsible for providing us the maximum of the domesticated plant material. Okay, see, for example, the cabbage is there, right? Broccoli is there, then the kale is there, that kohlrabi, napa cabbage, turnip, and the rutabaga, all things are there. Okay, all things we use these in our day-to-day life for the food purposes. So this particular Brassicaceae family, it is also called as the mustard family, and the maximum members of it, which belongs to the Brassica genus, we have domesticated for our own purpose. It will include the plants like cabbage, broccoli, and kale. Okay, and other examples are also there. Right, now consider the distribution of this particular Brassicaceae family. See, this family is also called as the Brassica family, and the family includes the 375 genera and 3200 species. Okay, remember these names can change, these numbers can change from book to book. Okay, so 375 genera are there, and 3200 species are there according to the Willis. Okay, so we are dealing with the 3200 plants. Okay, you can imagine how many species are there. More than 3000 species are there. So whenever we write the floral formula for it or the floral diagram for it, we are doing it generally. Okay, that is, we will we will create the general floral formula, and from that general floral formula we will create the floral diagram. Okay, it will not be applied to the every species which belongs to the Brassicaceae family. That is, the species to species variation may be there. That is, the calyx are not similar in all the species. Corolla is not similar in all the species, right? Yeah, in the same way, the number of androecium, number of gynoecium, that is, the number of stamens and number of carpels can vary from plant to plant, from species to species. Hence, once we are considering more than 3000 species, we will only create the generalized floral formula, and from this generalized floral formula, we will create the generalized floral diagram. Actually, this floral formula or the floral diagram can be created out of the species. Okay, we should consider the one species, and from this one species we can create the floral formula and the floral diagram that will be specific for that species only. Because we can take the example in the UPSC mains as well. We can take the one example from the Brassica family and we can create the floral formula and the floral diagram for it. Okay, although there are more than 3,000 species are there. Okay, see, it is distributed all over the world, but family mainly confined to the Mediterranean region. Okay, and in the north temperate temperature region, right? See, whatever the food material we have seen which belongs to the Brassica genus of the Brassicaceae family, this found all over the world. Okay, if you go to the any country, you will find these kinds of the plants which are found throughout the world, right? But whatever the domesticated species are there, that are only found throughout the world. But whatever the natural members are there, they were confined to the Mediterranean region. Okay, this region is considered as a Mediterranean region, and in this region, maximum of the species of the Brassicaceae can be found. So, in the north temperate regions and in the Mediterranean region, primarily the Brassicaceae family belongs. Although whatever the domesticated plants are there, whatever the cabbage-like plants are there, these are plants can be found throughout the world. Okay, but if you left behind the domesticated plants and if you consider the natural species which belongs to the Brassicaceae family, their distribution can be confined to the Mediterranean region and the north temperate region. Okay, so please remember these words because these are important to mention in the UPSC mains. All right, now see, let us consider the vegetative characters. See, habit. Generally they are the herbs, annual, for example, the Brassica and the Capsula, or the biennial or the shrubs. Okay. So here one thing is important that the habit includes the herbs and the shrubs. Okay. There are no trees. Okay. Except if we ignore the exceptions, there were no trees in the Brassicaceae family. So Brassicaceae generally shows the herbs types of the plants or the shrub types of the plants. Okay. Now see the common Indian herbs such as the Iruca. This plant is called as the Iruca. Then see Alyssum. This is the Alyssum. Then the Nasturtium. This one is called as the Nasturtium. Then see the Lepidium. Okay. And the Coronopsis are these plants are the common Indian herbs which are found in the Indian subcontinent. Okay. See, vegetative reproduction is takes place by the bulbils. For example, the Dentaria bulbifera or by the coral roots. Okay, this is the specialty of this Brassicaceae family that they create the bulbils. Okay, now bulbils are the vegetative structures which are formed on the plant body. Okay, once it form on the plant body and once these bulbils are separated from the parent plant, they will create the individual new plant. So it's a way of reproduction, the vegetative way of reproduction. Okay. So whatever the habit is there, the habit is in the form of herbs or the shrubs. Okay, maximum of the Indian family plants which belongs to the Brassicaceae are herbs. Okay, and the vegetative reproduction takes place through the bulbils. Okay, for example, we have the Dentaria bulbifera. In these plants, particular plants, the bulbils are formed. Once these bulbils are formed and they detach from their parent plant and they were separate from the parent plant, they will create a new whole plant. Okay, or by the coral roots as well. Okay, they were forming the special type of the roots, and these are special type of the roots. When they cut off from the parent plant, they will create the new plant. Okay, so these are some special type of the reproduction which is occurring in the Brassicaceae. Hence, it is important to mention this type of the reproduction here. Why? Because it can separate the one family from the other family. Because you will not see such kinds of the bulbils in the Magnoliaceae family. So the Ranunculaceae Magnoliaceae family, we did not have a point relating with the bulbils. That is the vegetative reproduction by the bulbils. Okay, but these the kinds of the structures can be found in the Brassicaceae family. Hence, this Brassicaceae family becomes unique in that regard. So such a point which makes the Brassicaceae different from the Magnoliaceae or the Ranunculaceae, such a points we have to mention in the UPSC mains as well, because it will help it to separate the families there, right? So Brassicaceae family are quite different from the Ranunculaceae family, Magnoliaceae family, because it shows the special types of the vegetative reproduction, right? Now let us consider the roots, how the roots are there. See, the taproot system is there solely on account of the storage of food material. See, we have the taproot system in the Brassicaceae family, and this taproot system majority of the time got swollen. Okay, why? To store the food material. So whatever the food material which are created in the photosynthetic process, in that photosynthetic process, once the food is created, these members of these plants, some members of this Brassicaceae family, what they do, they store the food material in their roots. That is, the roots got swollen, and after the swelling, all the food material is got stored under this particular root. Okay, it may be conical in shape. For example, in the radish. Okay, see, this is the radish and how the root is there. root is got swollen, and the food material is stored in this particular root, right? And once the whole root has its maximum food material, generally when we domesticate the plant at this stage, we take out the plant from the soil, okay, in order to sell it in the market, in order to consume it as a food, okay. Or it can be of the shape of fusiform or the napiform, as you can see in the turnip, right? So these kinds of the roots are there in the Brassicaceae family, which often got swollen in order to store the food material. So here you can judge how the Brassicaceae family is different from the Magnoliaceae family and the Ranunculaceae family. Here we have the special types of the roots. They are showing the taproot system, and in this taproot system, they got swollen and they store the food material. And due to the storage of food material, the roots looks very swollen, okay, and it can take a shape of the conical, and for example in the radish, okay, the conical shape is there, and this conical shape is created out of the storage of food material in this particular root. Or it can be fusiform or the napiform, for example is in the turnip, right? See how the stem is there. See the herbaceous, erect, and the cylindrical stem is there, okay. So herbaceous, the delicate green stem is there. Herbaceous literally means the one which is delicate, one which can move from one which can move or bend a little, right? Herbaceous and green stem is there, and stem is erect, okay, that is above the ground. As you can see in this particular picture of the Abies, here you will find the stem which is above the ground, and it is cylindrical, that is the solid stem is there, okay. So it is above the ground erect stem, and it is cylindrical stem, that is it is not hollow stem, but it's a solid stem, okay. For example in the Abies and the Brassica, right? Rarely the woody or sometimes the reduce, for example in the Raphanus and the Brassica species, okay. Sometimes whatever the stem is there, it got woody or sometimes it got reduced, okay. As you can see in this particular picture of the Raphanus, the stem is getting reduced here, okay. It may be sometimes glabrous, hairy, solid, or and the branch, okay. So branching system is there, and the glabrous type of the stem can also be seen in the members of Brassicaceae, and hairy and solid type of stem can be observed easily in this particular family, right? See, so how the stem is there in the Brassicaceae family, it may be herbaceous, right? It is a soft, delicate green stem, and it is erect above the ground, and it is cylindrical in nature in the Abies and the Brassica, right? Rarely woody, okay. Rarely woody stem can be found, that is the stem with the secondary growth, that is they were forming the woods, right? So rarely woody kind of stem can be found, but majority of the time it will remain the herbaceous, right? Sometimes it got reduced. For example, in the Raphanus and the Brassica species, consider this is the Brassica, right? And Raphanus, and here you can easily observe the stem is got reduced. Once you see the Brassica species, for example, cabbage, if you find the cabbage in the agricultural field, if you observe, you will look for the stem, okay? You will not see any stem. So here the stem is got much reduced, okay, almost to the negligible level. There is no scene of the stem at the site, right? So here the species like Raphanus or the Brassica, they were showing the very reduced kind of stem, and stem can be glabrous or the hairy, that is the smooth stem can be there, or sometimes the hairy stem can be there, okay. It is solid in nature, and the branching system is there on the stem, okay. Now consider the leaves. How the leaves are there? See, leaves may be alternate or the sub opposite, okay. Maybe simple and the extrapolate. See, alternate, which means the they were coming alternate to the one another like this, okay. And opposite literally means they were coming opposite to the each other, okay. And they can be sub opposite like this, okay. Just little opposite are there. So the alternate or the opposite phyllotaxy can be seen, and the leaves are simple, okay. Consider, see, one leaf is coming out of it, and it's a simple leaf, it's not a compound leaf, okay. So simple leaf are there, and the leaves are extrapolate, that is the stipule is not present, okay. No stipule is there, okay. So extrapolate stipule is there, extrapolate leaves are there. For example, Brassica compactis, okay. Here in the Brassica compactis you will not find any stipule. As you know, what is the stipule? Stipule which comes at the base, and it will protect the buds, okay, like this. Here you will find the stipules, but these are kinds of the stipules were not present in the Brassicaceae family, and hence the Brassicaceae family is considered as a extrapolate. For example, the Brassica compactis, okay. It may be cauline or the radical. For example, in the Raphanus, okay, the leaves may be cauline, that is they were coming from the base. See, this is the plant of the Raphanus, and this Raphanus is showing the cauline type of leaf. They are rightly coming out of the soil, okay. There is no stem or the reduced stem is there, and right from the base of the soil the leaves are coming out, okay. Generally they were sessile, that is no petiole is formed, okay. Sessile, that is they were rightly, for example, this is the stem, and directly they were coming out of the stem like this, and there is no petiole, and hence we describe them as a sessile. They were hairy, okay. You will find the hairs on these particular leaves. Then the entire margin is there, and with the unique costed reticulate venation. Okay, so single costa is there. Consider here the single main costa is there. That is why unicosted, and reticulate venation is there. That is the trap. The Venn trap is created. Okay, so reticulate type of venation is there, and there is a single main midrib or the main mid vein. Okay, so it's a unicosted reticulate type of the venation is there. All right, so unicosted reticulate type of venation is there, and the leaves may be sessile, right? They are hairy, they are entire in margin, right? And they may be sometimes cauline, as you can see in the Raphanus, and they were alternate, opposite, extrapolate, and the simple in the Brassica campestris. Okay, so this type of the variation in the leaves are also found in the Brassicaceae family. But one thing you have to remember is that they were generally showing the phyllotaxy, that is the alternate or the opposite phyllotaxy. The leaves are quite simple throughout the Brassicaceae family. They were showing the simple type of leaves, and the leaves are extrapolate. That is the most important thing. Okay, here you should remember that the leaves are extrapolate. That literally means the leaves do not show the presence of stipules. Okay, and they can be generally sessile, hairy, entire with the unicostal reticulate venation. Right, now see. Now let us consider the floral characters. Okay, let us first consider the inflorescence. Okay, so raceme type of the inflorescence can be seen in the Brassica campestris. As you can see how the inflorescence is there, and the raceme type of the inflorescence is there. Okay, this may be acropetal or the basipetal. As we have, I have already suggested you to go through the inflorescence video. In that you will find the racemose and the cymose type of the inflorescence, and what are the different subtypes of the inflorescence. Okay, so here in the Brassicaceae family, you should remember the raceme type of the inflorescence can be seen in the Brassica campestris, and the Carymbs raceme in the Abaris or the Caryomb. Okay, here you will find in the Abaris species the Carymbos raceme type of the inflorescence can be seen. So how the flowers are created in the Brassicaceae in the groups, it can be differ from species to species. That is, in the Brassica genus you will have the raceme type of the inflorescence, but in the Abaris genus you have the Carymbos type of the raceme inflorescence. Okay, so the inflorescence wise they were not unique, but the different kinds of the inflorescence can be seen from genus to genus. Okay, for example, Brassica and the Abaris genus. Okay, both these two genuses are quite separated from the one another because of their inflorescence types. Okay, now see the flower, how the flower is there. Flower is pedicellate. Okay, that is the pedicel is there for the flower. If you observe the flower, you will have the pedicel for the flower. What is the pedicel? Pedicel is nothing but the stalk of the flower. Okay, see ebracteate, that is the bract are not present. Okay, ebracteate flower is there. Then the flower is hermaphrodite, that is the flower is bisexual. Okay, please remember the term because we have to write it down in the floral formula. That is, they were the bisexual type. Then when the bisexual type is there, we use the such a symbol there to denote the bisexuality or the hermaphrodite nature. Then the actinomorphic and rarely zygomorphic. Okay, please remember maximum times you will find the actinomorphic flower in the Brassicaceae family, and we do this symbol for the actinomorphic flower. And if there are the some zygomorphic form, we use this symbol for denoting the zygomorphic form of the flower. Okay, so flowers are maximally actinomorphic. Okay, no doubt in that. The maximum members of the Brassicaceae family are showing the actinomorphic flower. As you can see, you can cut this flower from any angle and it will cut into the two equal halves. Okay, but there are some rare examples in which the flower is also the zygomorphic. For example, the Abaris and the Tisdalia. Okay, then the hypogynous ovary is there. As you know, there are three types of the ovary placement: hypogynous, epigynous, and the perigynous. Okay, hypogynous, epigynous, and perigynous. So here the hypogynous type of the ovary is there. Then the flower is majority of the time complete. That is the calyx, corolla, androecium, and the gynoecium. All the essential, all the four floral works are present, and hence we call the plant as a flower as a complete flower. But sometimes the flower can be seen as incomplete, as in case of the Lepidium. Okay, that is, Lepidium is lacking one of the four floral whorls, either the calyx, corolla, androecium, or the gynoecium. Okay, out of the four, if one is missing, the that type of the flower is considered as the incomplete flower because it will not show all the floral whorls. That is the calyx, corolla, androecium, and the gynoecium. If one of it or the two of it are missing, then we consider that flower as a incomplete flower. But majority of the time, the flowers are complete in the Brassicaceae. That is, they were showing the presence of calyx, corolla, androecium, and the gynoecium. But sometimes they can be incomplete, as in case of the Lepidium. That is the one of the floral members are absent. Okay, and they were tetramerous. That is, they were forming the four sepals or the petals, and that is why the tetramerous condition can be seen maximally. As you can see in this particular flower, the four petals are there. Okay, so tetramerous condition is there, and this tetramerous condition can be seen in the majority of the Brassicaceae flowers. Okay, so how the flower is there? Flower is very important for the any family studying, because from this flower we will create the floral formula, right? And from this floral formula, the floral diagram will be created, right? So how the flower is there? Pedicellate flower is there, no bracts, ebracteate, bisexual, that is hermaphrodite. Maximum times it's actinomorphic, rarely zygomorphic, right? Hypogynous in nature, complete, right? Incomplete, sometimes incomplete, and tetramerous in nature. All right. Now consider, see how the calyx is there. See, the sepals are four. Okay, how many sepals are there? Sepals are four. See, below this corolla, you will have the calyx, and sepals are four in number, and they were arranged in a two hulls of the two each. Okay, see, 2+2 arrangement is there. How the calyx is there, or how the sepals are there? Right, the individual members of the calyx is called as sepals. Okay, so the sepals generally four in number. Okay, generally it can vary, but generally the Brassicaceae family were showing the four sepals, and these four sepals are divided into the two whorls, that is each containing the two sepals. Okay, so the two whorls are there of two each, and it is polycephalous in nature. Okay, polycephalous literally means the sepals are free from one another. Okay, they are not free, they are not fused with one another. Okay, so here during the floral formula, you should remember not to put the bracket for these particular calyx, because they are polycephalous in nature. That is, they are free from one another. Okay, two are anterior, posterior, and two are lateral in position. Right, two lateral sepals may be saccate, imbricate, aestivation, and the inferior. Okay, so imbricate type of the aestivation here is the important thing, and in the imbricate you can find the some of the whorls are inside and some of the whorls are outside. So please remember here the imbricate type of the aestivation is actually shown by these calyx. Okay, so the second type of the calyx is there, imbricate aestivation is there, and it is inferior in nature. Okay, so how the calyx is there? Total four, but how the arrangement is there? 2+2 arrangement is there, and they are free from one another. Okay, so no bracket, no need to put the bracket in the floral formula. All right, how the two are placed? Two are placed at the anterior, posterior, and two are placed at the lateral sides. Okay, and which type of aestivation is there? Imbricate type of aestivation is there. Now consider the corolla. Okay, that is the petals. So now you can easily observe the petals in these particular flowers. Okay, see, petals are four. Actually, you can see here. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Four petals are there, alternate with the sepals. That just like they were alternating with the sepals, there were the four petals. See, polypetalous condition is there. What is the meaning of polypetals? That is, they were separated from the one another. Okay, here petals are also free from one another, so no need to put the bracket in the floral formula. Okay, we put the bracket in the floral formula once there is a gamopetalous or gamocephalous condition is there, right? But the condition is polypetalous, that is, the petals are free from one another, right? As you can see here, the 1, 2, 3, 4 petals are easily separable, and they are not fused with one another. Okay, now see, the petals arranged in the form of cross, known as the cruciform. Okay, so how they were arranged? They were arranged in the cross-like structure. This cross-like structure is called as the cruciform structure. Okay, so see, the special type of arrangement can be seen of the petals in the Brassicaceae family. This special type of arrangement is called as the cruciform arrangement. Now this arrangement is the characteristic of the family. Petals usually cloud, and the petals generally equal, rarely unequal. Okay, generally these petals are equal in size. Okay, but rarely the unequal petals are also there, as you can see in the Abaris. Okay, or the Cisdalia. Here you will see the 1 and 2 petals are the large petals, while the third and the fourth petal are the smaller petals. That is, they are rarely unequal, and this unequal condition can be seen in the Abaris and the Cisdalia. Okay, or maybe sometimes the petal may be replaced by the stamens. Okay, that is, these petals are totally got replaced by the stamens, that is the members of the androecium, as in case of the Capsella bursa pastoris. Okay, so how the corolla is there? Corolla are also four in number. Okay, they were alternating with the sepals, that is, they were alternating with the calyx, and they were polycephalous in nature. Okay, so they arrange in a such a way that such arrangement is called the cruciform arrangement, and this is the very characteristic of this Brassicaceae family. Okay, and generally they were of a similar size, but the unequal size can be seen. For example, in the Abaris and the Cisdalia, that is, the unequal type of the petals can be seen. See, these two petals are larger and these two petals are smaller, right? Or sometimes the whole of the stamens got converted into the stamens as well. Okay, this condition can be seen in the Capsella bursa pastoris. All right, now consider. See the androecium. How the androecium is there? See these androeciums, the individual members of the androecium are called as the stamens. They are six in number. Okay, what is the number of androecium? Androecium number is six. Okay, they were also arranged in a three wall. So 3 plus 3 arrangement is there. Outer two stamens are short, while the inner four stamens are long. Okay, so 2 plus 4 arrangement is there. Total six stamens are there, and 2 plus 4 arrangement is there. And how the two are there? These are two stamens are short. Okay, these are two outer stamens, and these are two outer stamens are short in nature. Okay, while these are the four inner or the four inner long stamens are there, and they are can be distinguished from the shorter one. Okay, that is the two short stamens and the four long stamens are there in the family of the Brassicaceae. So once you are going to describe the androecium of the Brassicaceae, you should carefully remember that the Brassicaceae is showing the six stamens. How stamens are there? Six stamens are there, and these six stamens are arranged in the 2 plus 4 fashion. How the two are there? Two are present at the inner side, while the rest of the four are present on the outer side. Okay, so these are two inner side which present on the inner side are the short stamens, while the one which is present, the four which is present on the outer side are considered as a long stamens. Okay, so long stamens are here in the form of four stamens, and two inner stamens are also there which are short in nature. Okay, see they are tetranemas. Then the polyanthrous condition is there, that is they were separated from the one another. Anthers are diathecous, that is the two thicker condition is there. Basifix, okay, how they were placed on the connective, depending upon that there were certain types of the fixation of the anther. Here we have the basifix types of the androecium and the intrors type of the androecium, which can also be seen in the Ranunculaceae family, right? So intrors type of the androecium, then the basifix diathecous, right? Polyanthrous condition is there, tetradynamis is there, and the 2 plus 4 arrangement can be seen in this particular androecium in the Brassicaceae family. So you should remember there were the six stamens in general, okay, in the Brassicaceae family, which are arranged into the 2 plus 4 order. Two are inner, four are outer, two inner are short, four outer are long. Okay, now consider the disc like nectar is also there, a variable in number. Okay, so there is a disc of the where the nectar is got stored, and this disc is variable in number from species to species. It is present at the base of stamens. Okay, so whatever the stamens are there, see these kinds of the stamens are there. Okay, and here we have the connective, here we have the anthers, and here we have the filament, and at the base of the filament you will find the disc. Okay, and at the base of this disc you will find the presence of nectar. Okay, in the search of this nectar, actually the pollinators visit this particular flowers. Okay, so the nectar is present in the disc-like structure in the Brassicaceae family members. This disc is present at the base of the stamens, right? In some cases, the number of stamens is variable. That is the 16 in the Megacarpia and the 4 in the Cardamine. Is could add 2 in the Coronopus. Okay, so number can vary from species to species, but the in general number is the 6, and the 2 plus 4 arrangement can be seen easily in this androecium. Now let us consider the gynoecium. How the gynoecium is there? Generally, they were the bicarpellary. That is the two carpels are there. Okay, how many carpels are there? Two carpels, and rarely there were the three carpels. Okay, so generally we have the two carpels, and rarely we have the three carpels. For example, in the Lepidium sativum, we will find the three carpellary condition. Then their syncarpous condition can be seen. Syncarpous, which means the carpels are fused. Okay, important thing is to note down. In the floral formula, this will reflect. Okay, so syncarpous condition is there. That is the gynoecium are fused with one another. Okay, so fusion is there. So in the floral formula, when you give the gynoecium, the bracket should be there. Okay, that is the fuse condition is there because the syncarpous condition is seen in these carpels. These carpels are fused with one another. That is why we use the term syncarpous, right? How the ovary is there? Ovary is superior in nature. Then the unilocular, that is the one locule is present in the ovary. It sometimes becomes the bilocular due to the development of the false septum, which is called as the raflum. Okay, raflum is the false septum which is created in the unilocule. For example, this is the unilocule, and if the false septum like this is created in the form of raflum, it will create the two locular condition or the bilocular condition. Okay, so generally there were the unilocular condition, but later bilocular condition is created due to the creation of false septum, is called as the raflum. Then the parietal type of placentation is there. Okay, which type of placentation is there? Parietal type of placentation. Out of the four placentation, the parietal type of the placentation is shown. In the Ranunculaceae family, we have seen the axial type of placentation and the marginal type of placentation, right? So these depending upon the placentation, the plant families can be separated. Okay, so the Brassicaceae family is maximally showing the parietal type of the placentation. See, many ovules are there inside the ovary. Style is very short and the stigma is simple and the bifid. Okay, simple or bifid type of the stigma can be seen in the carpels. Okay, so how the carpels are there? Carpels, the most important thing here to note down is the syncarpous condition, because we have to put the bracket in the floral formula. Okay, and it is a unilocular, sometimes it become bilocular due to the creation of false septum. Parietal placentation is there, ovules many, style short, and the stigma simple to bifid. Okay, now see, the crucifer carpel has been puzzling subject of the morphologist and their attention attached towards for a long time. Okay, here also the crucifer type of arrangement can be seen in the carpel as well. Just like the stamens, the carpels are also arranged in a very unique fashion, and this unique fashion is called as the cruciform fashion or the crucifer type of the carpel. So for the morphologist, okay, whatever the morphologists are there, they were carefully studying this crucifer type of the carpel, because this is quite puzzling. Okay, how they have got created in the evolution. Okay, and what is the purpose of their crucifer formation? See, according to some, there are only the two carpels, while in others that hold that there were the four carpels. Okay, sometimes there were the two carpels, sometimes there were the four carpel, and the syncarpous condition can be seen. Okay, now consider the fruit. Okay, how the fruit is there. See, the silicu or the silicula type of the fruit can be seen here, as you can see, or sometimes the lumentum, as in case of the Raphanus. Okay, so lumentum type of the fruit can be seen in these plant families, either for maximally silicua type of the fruit or the lumentum type of the fruit can be seen in the Brassicaceae family. As you must have purchased the Raphanus fruits, right? The Raphanus fruits are long lumentum type of the fruits. When the valves are separate in the silkia, the seeds remain attached to the raflum. Okay, when the valves are got separated of these lumentum, whatever the seeds are there inside, they were attached to the false septum, which is called as the raflum. Okay, now consider the seed. Seeds are the X albuminous. Okay, and the germination of the seed is epigeal. As you know, there were the three kinds of germination: the epigeal, hypogeal, and the viviparous. Okay, all these three kinds of the germination we have explained in our previous videos in the form of seed germination topic. Okay, so the how the seed is there, the X albuminous type of the seed is there, and the germination of the seed is generally the epigeal. See how the pollination occurs. It is either the self or the cross pollinated. That is, the self pollination can occur because the androecium and the gynoecium both are present on the same flower. So cell pollination can occur within the flower, or the flower can be get cross pollinated. Once the pollen visitor or the, for example, the honeybee is travel from the one flower to another flower, and it can take the bees, the pollen grains from the one flower to the another flower, and hence it can give the cross pollination. So cell pollination can occur in the member of Brassicaceae. See, on the similar rank, cross pollination can also be occur. See, the flowers are visited by the insect due to the presence of the nectaries. Of course, at the base of the stamen, you will find the nectaries, and there is the storage of nectar. So, in search of this nectar, the insects are often visiting these Brassicaceae family members, right? See, cleistogamy is found in the Cardamom Cynopodifolia. In this cleistogamy, the closed flower is there. Okay, so in the closed flower, the self pollination can easily occur. Okay, so no chances of the cross pollination is there, but in the cleistogamy, you will find the presence of the closed flowers, right? Anemophilous pollination is found in the Pringlia. Okay, so here the anemophilous pollination, that literally means the pollination by using the wind, which can be found predominantly in the gymnosperms, but in some families of the angiosperm, even in the Brassicaceae family, you will find the anemophilous type of the pollination. Okay, now consider this. Now, let us, from this all information, let us consider the floral formula for the Brassicaceae family. So, here you will find the actinomorphic flower. Yes, we know the actinomorphic flower is there. Rarely zygomorphous flower is also there. Yes, the hermaphrodite flower is maximally present. That is, the bisexual condition is there. Okay. Then we have the calyx, and the 2+2 arrangement is there, right? 2+2. Then the corolla is present in the 4. Okay, number 4, and it can vary to the 8, 16, right? 32. So 4x is given here, that is, in the multiple of 4, the corolla can be seen in the Brassicaceae family. Then the androecium, how the stamens are there? 6. 2+4 arrangement is there, right? So 2 plus 4, writing down 2 plus 4 become important because 2 are the inner one and the 4 are the outer one. 2 are the short while the 4 are the long. Then the gynoecium, that is bicarpellary condition is seen. So two carpels are there and syncarpous condition is there. That is they are fused with one another. Understand this, okay? That is the bracket. We have put the bracket. Why we have put the bracket here? Because the carpels are fused with one another. Okay, they are fused with one another, and due to this fusion, the bracket is placed around these two. Okay, and the ovary is superior, and hence we have the underline below the two. Okay, because the ovary is superior in nature. So the flower is actinomorphic, bisexual condition is there, calyx, how the calyx is there, 2 plus 2, calyx is there, then corolla, how the corolla is there, 4, right? It can be the multiple of 4, sometimes 16, sometimes 32 can be seen. And androecium, how androecium are there, stamen 6, 2 plus 4 arrangement is there. Gynoecium, most of the time bicarpellary, hence 2, and they are syncarpous, fuse, hence bracket, and ovary is superior. So we have discussed the floral formula, and in the floral formula, we have focused on the minor details, why there is a 2 plus 2 arrangement, why there is a 2 plus 4 arrangement, how the syncarpous condition can be seen in the gynoecium, right? So this will all reflect in the floral diagram, okay? Now consider this is the floral diagram for the Brassicaceae family, okay? Now see, first of all, on the outer side, what you will observe, the calyx, okay? And calyx are nothing but the sepals, okay? So how many sepals are there in and all? 4 sepals, 2 plus 2. There are total 4 sepals. Now let us count. This is the first, second, third, and the fourth. Okay, so 4 sepals are there. Now see the 2 plus 2 arrangement we have shown in the floral formula. Why? Because see the two calyx or the true sepals, the one is 2 are present on the inner side. See like this. 2 are present on the inner side and 2 are present on the outer side. Okay, so this is like the arrangement like this. See, 2 are on the inner side like this and 2 are on the outer side. Okay, so this type of the arrangement is found in the calyx. That is the sepals, the 4 sepals. The 2 sepals are present inside and 2 sepals are present on the outer side. Hence we write the 2 plus 2. That is the 2 are present inside and 2 are present inside and the 2 are present on the outer side. Now here the very important thing you have to observe is the imbricate type of the estivation. That is when you see some of the sepals which are present completely on the inside and some of the sepals which are completely present on the outer side, such arrangement will fall under the imbricate type of estivation. Okay, as you know, there are the 4 types of the estivation in the calyx and corolla. Okay, out of it the imbricate type of estivation is shown by the Brassicaceae family in the sepals. Okay, not in the sepals and petals, but the sepals are showing the imbricate type of the estivation because the 2 sepals are completely inside and 2 sepals are completely outside. So such a arrangement is called as the imbricate estivation. So here you will find the imbricate type of the estivation. All right. So from the outer side of the calyx, which is represented by the calyx, we came to know there are there are in and all 4 sepals. They are arranged in a 2 plus 2 fashion, and this 2 plus 2 arrangement gives them the imbricate type of the estivation. Okay. Now after the calyx, what you will find? The corolla inside here. See how what is the number of corolla here? See 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so 4 corolla is there. Okay, that is the 4 petals are there. Okay, the individual members of the corolla are called as the petals. So the 4 petals are there, but look at carefully the estivation. Which type of the estivation they are showing? The estivation is not the imbricate type of the estivation, but the estivation is shown here is the valvate type of the estivation. In the valvate type of estivation, you will see the estivation like this. See, this is the first petal, second petal, third petal, and the 4th petal. Although they are not fused with one another, but they are aligned in the one circle. Okay, there is no inside or the outside thing. They are arranged in a circle. Then in such a condition, we say the estivation is the valvate type of the estivation. Okay, you may have seen the imbricate type of the description in the corolla, but as we can say from species to species, it's changed in the Brassicaceae family. Okay, so here we have the valvate type of estivation in the corolla or in the petals. Okay, but the sepals are showing the imbricate type of estivation, but here in the petals you will find the valvate type of estivation. Okay, so estivation is differing from the sepals to the petals. Petals on the one hand is showing the valvate type of estivation, while on the other hand the calyx or the sepals is showing the imbricate type of the estivation. Okay, so in and all there are the 4 or the multiple of 4 of the corolla, and these corolla were showing the presence of the velvet type of aestivation. Now, after the corolla, inside you will find the androecium. Okay, and see how we have shown the androecium in the floral formula. The 2 plus 4 arrangement is there. So total in and all 6 stamens are there. Now let us count. See, this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and the sixth. Okay, so in and all there are the 6 stamens, and how they were arranged? They were arranged in a 2 plus 4 fashion. Okay, these are the 2 androeciums or the stamens, and these are the 4 stamens which are present on the outer side. Okay, these ones are the long ones which are present on the outer side, while with the 2 which are present on the inside are the shorter ones. Okay, so shorter and the longer type of the stamens can be seen in the Brassicaceae family, and 2 plus 4 arrangement is there. Okay, 2 on the inner side and 4 on the outer side. 4 are long and 2 are short. Okay, so 4 plus 2, that is 6 stamens are present in the Brassicaceae family. After that we have the gynoecium. Okay, here in the center we will have the gynoecium, and the 2 carpels are there. Okay, see, this is the first carpel and this is the second carpel, and it is fused. Okay, see, the line is shown between them. Okay, which is showing the fusion is there. That is the syncarpous condition is there. So this syncarpous condition is shown by the bracket. Okay, that is the 2 carpels are there and they are fused with one another. That is the syncarpous condition. So bracket is placed in the floral formula. Okay, so this is how the floral diagram is there for the Brassicaceae family, for the calyx, corolla, androecium, and the gynoecium. So you can easily judge how the minute details are carefully placed in the floral diagram. Okay, and that is why floral diagram becomes very important for the botany student, because the floral diagram is actually showing you how the flower is there. Okay, if you draw just the floral diagram, you can draw the whole flower out of it. Exact the minute details of the flowers are placed in this particular floral diagram. Okay, so this type of the floral diagram is shown by the Brassicaceae family. All right, now let us consider the which characters which are making the Brassicaceae family is the primitive family. Okay, now if the question is there whether the Brassicaceae family is the primitive family or the advanced family, now there are the different characteristics are there which is making the Brassicaceae family primitive family, and there are some characters as well which are making the Brassicaceae family the one advanced family. Okay, now let us consider which kinds of the primitive characters are shown by this particular family. See, the leaves are simple and alternate. Okay, so simple leaves are considered as a primitive character, because the compound leaf, okay, if you find the compound leaf is considered as an advanced character. Okay, this question is asked in our last home assignment, but majority of the students have just given the reason that the Hutchinson or the Bentham and Hooker placed them as a primitive, and that is why they are primitive. But it should not be like that. Okay, you should give the proper scientific reason that why we are considering one family as a primitive family and other family as a advanced family, because there are some characteristics which makes the family primitive family, and there are some characteristics which make the family advanced family. See, if the Brassicaceae family is showing you the simple leaf and the alternate type of phyllotaxy, this character is considered as a primitive character. So if these characters of simple leaf and the alternate phyllotaxy is present, you can consider the family is the primitive family. Then the flowers are hermaphrodite, hypogynous, and the actinomorphic. So the hermaphrodite, that is the bisexuality, and the actinomorphic nature of the symmetry, and the hypogynous ovary are all these characters considered as a primitive characters, because the primitive flower show this type of condition. That is they were hermaphrodite, that is the bisexuality is there, and the hypogynous ovary is there, actinomorphic flower symmetry is there. That is, it can be two equal halves from the any plane, right? So the actinomorphic condition, hermaphrodite condition, and the hypogynous condition are considered as a primitive condition, which are shown by this Brassicaceae family. See, the calyx and corolla are free. That is the polycephalous, right, and the polypetalous condition is seen in the Brassicaceae family, which is considered as a primitive characteristic, because the gamo condition or the gamocephalous or the gamopetalous, this condition is considered as an advanced condition in the plant families. If the plant family is showing the fusion of between the sepals or fusion between the petals, it is considered as a advanced family. But if the polycephalous condition is there in the calyx and corolla, this character is considered as a primitive character. Okay, now see, the stamens are polyandrous. Okay, that is, they were not fused with one another. Stamens are also free from one another. Okay, and this condition is also considered as a primitive condition. Then the ovule are anatropous. Okay, anatropous type of the ovule is there, and this anatropous type of the ovule is also considered as the ancient or the primitive. Okay, so all presence of all these characters makes the Brassicaceae family the primitive family. Okay, so if the UPSC asks you why we can consider the Brassicaceae family as a primitive family, So all these five reasons are there because these are showing the primitive characteristics like the simple leaves, right? Alternate phylltaxy, hermaphrodite, hypogamous, and the actinomorphic flower. Calyx, corolla are showing the polycephalous or polypetalous condition. Stamens are polyandrous, that is, they are free from one another, and ovule is anatropous. So all these types of the characters are showing why the Brassicaceae family is the primitive family. Now let us consider some advanced characters which are present in the Brassicaceae family. See, plants are generally herbs, annuals, and the biennials. See, this is very important. Whenever you find the herbs, okay, these herbs are considered as advanced plants, okay, and the trees, on the other hand, are considered as a ancient plant. That is, whatever the trees are there in the angiospermic plant families, they are considered as a primitive plants because they were originated from the gymnosperms, and gymnosperms, as you know, they were showing all the tree habit. Okay, maximum of them were show the tree habit. So this tree habit is considered as a primitive characters, but the presence of the herbs, okay, herbs are considered as to be the more advanced on the evolutionary line, and majority of the members of the Brassicaceae were also the herbs, okay, and that is why the Brassicaceae family is considered as an advanced family because the herbs types of the habit is shown by this family, right? See, the leaves are exstipulate, okay, the stipules are not present there. If the stipules are present, the plant is considered as a primitive plant, okay, but the exstipulate condition makes the plant as a advanced plant, okay. So exstipulate condition also making the advanced characters in the Brassicaceae. Then the flowers are ebracteate, okay, no bracteae is present, and sometimes zygomorphic. So zygomorphic condition is considered as an advanced condition over the actinomorphic condition. Actinomorphic condition is the primitive condition, while the zygomorphic condition is considered as an advanced condition because this advanced condition can be found in the some members of the Brassicaceae family. For example, in the Aberis, right? See, the gynoecium bicarpellary and the syncarpus. See, gynoecium is fused with one another, okay, two carpels are there and these carpels are fused, and as you know, the fusion between the petals or the sepals or the stamens or the carpels, this is considered as an advanced character, okay. Remember this for forever. See, if there is a fusion between the sepals, that is in the calyx, if there is a fusion between the corolla, if there is a fusion between the stamens, or if there is a fusion between the carpel, it is considered as an advanced character. And if the sepals are free from one another, corolla are free, stamens are free, and the carpels are free from one another, this is considered as a primitive character. So this particular Brassicaceae family is showing the bicarpellary type of condition, which is a syncarpus condition, and hence it is considered as an advanced character, okay. And the simple types of the fruits are there in the Brassicaceae family. This is also the advanced type of the fruit material found in the plant families. So all these five are making the plant family of the Brassicaceae as an advanced family, while the earlier five that is we have discussed here, all these five are making the Brassicaceae family as the primitive family. So you can say the primitive characters and the advanced type of characters, all mixture is there in the Brassicaceae family. So if the UPSC asks you whether to consider the Brassicaceae family to be the primitive family or the advanced family, depending upon these 2 points, you can justify your answer there. Okay, that is some form of advanced characters are there and some form of primitive characters are also there in the Brassicaceae family. Okay, now let us consider the economic importance of the Brassicaceae family. Okay, of course, the very first economic importance is the food. Okay, as we have already discussed that the majority of the Brassica genus members are domesticated by the humans for the food purposes. We largely use these plants in our day-to-day food material, right? In the kitchens, you will definitely find these kinds of the food material, right? So food importance is there for the Brassicaceae family. See, the plants of this family which are cultivated as a vegetable crops are the Brassica oleracea, which is called as the full gobi, right? This is called as the full gobi in the Hindi, right? Brassica oleracea, its variety, which is called as the capitata, it is called as the band gobi, right? See, then we have the Brassica oleracea variety of it is the cauliflower, which is called as the gand gobi. Okay, actually, the gand gobi is there, this gobi, right? And then the Brassica campestris is there, which is called as the white mustard. Brassica rapa is there, which is called as the shalgam, right? Raphanus sativus is there, which is called as mooli, right? Are edible and cook as a vegetable. So all these examples, okay, what is important here? the botanical name, okay, the botanical name of a domesticated species which we use on our day-to-day life for the food purpose. This botanical name is very important to be mentioned in the UPSC mains. Okay, when you write down the importance of the Brassicaceae family, you should not merely write that we use this family for the food purposes, but you should give the proper example in the form of botanical name. For example, the Brassica oleracea, which is called as the full gobi. Okay, so all these botanical names you should mention that, and in that you should justify your answer that all these botanical species which are belonging to this particular Brassicaceae family, we are using for these species for the food purposes. Okay, so this is the first importance of the Brassicaceae family in the form of food material. Right, now see, second one is the oil. Okay, see, some members of the Brassicaceae family are there. From these members the oil is regularly extracted. See, the seeds of the Brassicaceae campestris, Brassica campestris, or the white mustard, okay, yield the mustard oil. As you know, this is the famous oil. It's a mustard oil, which is widely used for the cooking medium. So the source of the oil, the mustard oil, is coming from the Brassicaceae family. Actually, the other name of the Brassicaceae family is the mustard family, right? So the mustard family is coming from the species, the Brassica campestris, and from the seeds of this Brassica campestris, we extract the oil, which is famously called as the mustard oil, right? Which is widely used for the cooking purposes, right? See, the Brassica nigra and the Brassia juncea rye also produces the oil. Okay, so when you write down as the source of the food material, as the economic importance of the Brassicaceae, you should remember to put forward these botanical names. These are three botanical names, okay, because these actually give the oil in the Brassicaceae family, and without the botanical names your answer will remain incomplete. Okay, so that is why these are mention these three species and say that the oil can be extracted from these Brassicaceae members. Okay, and it is largely used in the Indian families as a cooking medium oil. Okay, now consider, after extracting the oil, whatever the cake is left behind, okay, whatever we use the seeds of the Brassica campestris, and after extracting all the oil, whatever the cake of the seed, okay, whatever the remains of the seeds are there, okay, after the crushing, whatever the seed remains are there, which is called as the cake, is left behind, which is highly nutritious as a cattle feed. Okay, we use this cake which is remained after the extraction of oil. It is very nutritious and it is used for the cattle feeding. Okay, whatever the cattle are there, these cattle can survive on this particular cake which is left behind after the extracting of the oil. Right, see, the oil cake is also used as a soil fertilizer, so it can also be used as a soil fertilizer. It can be applied in the agriculture, and from this from the agriculture we can take the benefit of this cake. Whatever the cake is left behind, or the oil cake is there, this oil cake can be used as a soil fertilizer to increase the fertility of the soil. Okay, see, the raffinose seeds are also produce the pungent oil which is often used in the adulteration of the sarso oil. Okay, so whatever the seeds are there for the raffinose oil, these raffinose seeds produce the pungent type of the oil which is used to be adulteration, which is used for the adulteration of the sarso oil. Okay, and this oil has then the digestive properties. So the digestive properties are greatly enhanced due to this adulteration, and hence this pungent oil which is coming from the Brassica seed is also used, okay, for the adulteration of the sarso oil. Okay, so oil production is also the prime importance of the Brassicaceae family. Not only we use them as a food material in our kitchens, but also the members of the Brassicaceae family are famous for production of the oils. Okay, so first economic importance is the food, and the second economic importance is the production of oil. Right, now let us consider the importance is in the medicine category. See, the leaves and the tender shoots of the Lepidum sativum are used in the liver complaints, okay, asthma, cough, and the bleeding piles. Okay, so if there are liver complications or asthma, if there is a cough and if there is a bleeding piles, we use the leaves of the Lepidum, or whatever the tender shoots or the immature shoots are there, the immature shoots of this Lepidum sativum. See, this plant, we can use this Lepidum sativum immature shoots or the leaves in case of the liver complaints, or the asthma, or the cough and the bleeding piles. Right, see, Coripa montana is an appetizer and the stimulant. Okay, so it is good for the digestion. It is appetizer and is stimulant in nature, this plant. And the seeds of the Cherianthus cherry are used in the bronchitis and the fever. Okay, so whatever the seeds are there for these particular Cherianthus cherry, we use in case of bronchitis. Okay, in case of throat infection, in case of bronchitis, and in case of fever, we use them. Right, the flowers are used for the paralysis and the impotency as well. Okay, so for the paralysis like condition or for the impotency, if the infertility is there, for this we also use the flowers of these plants. Okay, so medicinal importance is also there for this Brassicaceae family, as it contains the more than 3,000 species. Hence the great economic importance is attributed to this particular Brassicaceae family in the form of food, right, in the form of production of oil, and in the form of medicine, right? And for the medicine, to justify your answer, you should remember the botanical name, that is the Lepidium sativum, used in the liver complaint, asthma, cough, and bleeding piles. And then we have the Corypha montana and the Carianthus cherry, which is used for the different problems in the humans, right? Now see, the Laria is used for the gonorrhea. Okay, so gonorrhea is the STD, it's sexually transmitted diseases, and for this disease, the Labularia species genus, which is used for the which is present in the Brassicaceae family, is used. Okay, see, Aberis amera is used in the rheumatism and the gout. Okay, so whatever the arthritis is there, rheumatism is there, or whatever the gout conditions are there, this Aberis amera is largely used for this arthritis purpose. Okay, or for the gout. Okay, these are all the problems relating with your bones, and whatever the rheumatoid arthritis is there or the gout type of arthritis is there, this can be treated by using the Aberis amera. Okay, so this is a great medical medicine importance in the Brassicaceae family. All right. Now see, the fourth one, of course, the ornamentals. Okay, see, some plants are grown in the gardens for their beautiful flowers. For example, cherryon, these are called as the wallflowers. Then Aberis amera, which is called as the candytuft. Okay, this is the Aberis amera. There is lobeloria. Sorry, Aberis amera. Then the lobeloria. This one is the lobeloria. And see, Mathiola, which is called stalk. This is the Mathiola. See, Hepseris. This is the Hepseris, and the Lunaria. This is the Lunaria. So you can observe what is the how much beauty is there in their flowers. Okay, and of course that is why they were largely used as ornamentals to decorate the gardens and the households. Okay, so inside the household we also use them as ornamentals or to decorate our gardens. In the gardens as well, we can use these plants as a ornamental plants. So all these four are the economic importance to be placed in the UPSC mains examination with along with the botanical names. Okay, this will be the much important for the answer writing, because the examiner will see only the botanical names, which names you are putting forward for an ornamental plant, which plants are you are giving for the food purpose, which plants you are giving for the oil, which plants you are giving for the medicinal purpose, then which plants you are going for the ornamental purpose. Okay, so botanical names are important in this category. All right. So this is all about this topic. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. Please like this video, share this video with your friends who are studying the botany, and if you haven't subscribed to the Botany Abstract channel yet, please subscribe to the Botany Abstract channel for UPSC examination. Again, thank you very much for giving your time. See you in the next video lecture. Thank you.